May I come in?
Come in, come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon. Sit down.
Thank you.
You can take your seat. Are you presently employed?
Yes, sir.
Where?
I'm presently working with Coal India Limited. I'm posted as area sales manager in one of the subsidiaries, Mahajan Coalfield Limited in Odisha, Sambalpur.
So
Since,
you are
2000
located in Sambalpur.
Yes, sir. Since 2016, into Orient area, the area sales manager. And prior to that, I joined on 2013 into Quality Control Department of LCL, Mahajan Coalfield Limited.
So with Coal India, you've been working since 2013.
January 2013, sir.
So it's almost 6 years.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god. It's a PSU.
Yes, sir.
You've been working with it.
Yes, sir.
This is a permanent sort of an assignment.
Yes, sir.
And you have always worked in the sales department.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then why are you getting into civil services?
Sir, on economic front, if you talk from the perspective of like public administration, where I thought of Maslow's hierarchy needs, where I find myself on economic front, I'm much secure considering Coal India as one of the esteemed employer in this India. But sir, since I went to Orient area where I'm area sales manager working as. Prior to that, I was in headquarters Sambalpur. In Orient area, I saw people doing the manual labor. Like in coal, while dispatching coal, you have to do that with a hammer and sickle. You have to do that bit of crushing of coal. Where I find myself at odd, like I'm sitting having a cup of tea or something, and a person just next to me is doing all this hammering and stuff. At my level, I tried with ensuring that we can buy some pulverizer machine which can do that stuff easily, and we can engage the same efficient labor in some other more productive and constructive activities. But I had some limited diaspora, and after looking at that, I thought it is not me where I find myself fit. I think I'm capable of doing even more. At one point of time, I'm around 2015-16, I was about to get married also, but then I thought uh, I got a lot of things from the society, and now it's my turn to contribute from my end. So I'm willing to contribute.
And you contribute from your end by becoming a civil servant.
I'm also contributing there. We are running a Pratham club, which is doing to the education of tribal children in the Sambalpur area. We were running around 150 children from first to 12th standard. We are doing a bit from our end.
You are running a school.
Not as such a school, sir, but it's small of a Sanskar Kendra we call it. Not exactly school, but we are working like we are giving them opportunities. Like in my case, where I find myself being blessed with some opportunities, like born and brought up in Maharashtra and Pune, where I get several avenues of education, where I could excel.
No. Just tell me one thing.
Yes,
as
sir.
far as Pratham is concerned,
Yes, sir.
what is it that you do as far as the students are concerned?
So me and my batchmates,
How many people are these?
So students are around 150.
No. Students are 150. I got that. How many people along with you are involved in this enterprise?
So from MCL part, we are around 10 to 12 people. And
Okay.
there is one
So you
another
interact with
college.
these students, 150 students.
Yes, sir.
How many times a week?
Saturday and Sunday mostly.
Weekends.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So you do this when you have time. You find time for them. And what is it that you do?
So we go there and take up lectures, volunteer lectures. We arrange drawing competitions. We arrange sports tournaments. Even there is one Hirakud Dam nearby. We go for picnic. We give them an opportunity.
These students are already enrolled in schools.
No, sir.
They're not enrolled in schools.
No, sir.
They're not enrolled in any school.
After first they are enrolled, means first to 12th we got the student. But the enrollment, like we should discuss, sir, they are not having that quality
How
education.
many of these 150 students
Yes, sir.
go to school?
So enrollment ratio is on paper is 100% for them, sir. But their parents, when where we meet, sir, those are not that literate persons,
These
sir.
students come from families
Yes, sir.
whose parents are working for Coal India?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So these are children in the vicinity that you are.
Vicinity area, sir, which is one of the you can say a remote place from our Indian college. The actually the school and this entire activity Sanskar Kendra was started by Veer Surendra Sai Engineering College. It is one of their initiatives. It is very nearby to LCL, where we are giving them financial supports, then any administrative help where we can, and even reaching out to the Sambalpur district administration. One of the instances which actually made me to do work beyond this level was during one of the interaction.
How many years have you been working with this?
Since 2016, 2015, 16, sir.
2 years.
2 years, sir.
Okay. तो ये तो बहुत ही छोटा है to go
Yes, sir.
about even reasonably understanding as to what has come out of it. Okay, on a different issue altogether. You have heard of rat hole mining?
Yes, sir.
And most of the time it is about coal mining.
Yes. And,
Huh?
yes.
And most of the time it is about children as minors. What should be done to regulate this?
So, I don't have exact idea what should be the probable sources for that. Means, recently in Meghalaya, one fatal accident incident took place, and all of a sudden this rat hole mining and this new technique came to limelight.
It did not come into limelight. It has been there for ages. It's just that after the accident,
Yes, sir.
you have the national media developing a certain sort of an interest about it.
Yes, sir.
It has always been there. It has been going on for the ages, for almost the last century and more.
Yes, sir.
Ever since they started mining in the Garo Hills, it has been going on.
The safety aspects, sir. The safety aspects were
No, what should be done to regulate it? How can we regulate it? How can we stop it?
no, I'm not aware of it.
Nothing. Is it prohibited by law?
I don't have an idea.
You don't have any idea. Lovely. So you are focused only on mining which is done by Coal India. Any other coal mining which is going on in this country, you have nothing to do with it. Let them do whatever they are doing. हम लोग क्या करें? Does Coal India, in your case where you're working in the Manali coal fields, go about employing children or people who are underage in any capacity whatsoever?
So we do lots of subcontracting where we have norms and regulations.
Lovely.
Yes, sir.
And in those cases, are there underage people who are employed?
In some cases there are.
There are.
We will take
And Coal India is doing nothing to stop this.
So we take a vigilant action also for the purpose.
क्या विजिलेंट एक्शन करेंगे पता नहीं. It's yet happening and I don't know. अच्छा इतना सब करने के बाद भी
Yes.
after everything is said and done, India keeps on importing coal.
Yes. Yes.
What is the target for this year as far as Coal India is concerned in terms of how much amount of coal is Coal India supposed to go about mining?
So Honorable Coal Minister Piyush Goyal has set target for 1 million ton this 2019. Sir. Till now we have reached around 800 million ton. From MCL we have one of the part of the subsidy we have reached around 121 million.
This is in the public sector.
Yes, sir.
Private sector coal mining,
I don't have the data of it, sir.
but
We are
would they
doing
be
the-
bringing up the balance 200 million?
Even the remaining quantity is a target of LCL only, sir. Apart from
So 1 billion is what MCL is supposed to go about mining.
Coal India, sir. Sorry.
Coal India is supposed to go about mining 1 billion.
Yes, sir. 1 million ton.
Okay. The second big problem that we are facing, and we are yet not close to it since we are in January, the problem will start getting severe by the time we reach summer. This has happened last year, this has been happening over all the last 4 years, that Coal India does reach its target set up for the year. And yet, thermal power plants across north and central India do shut off for a simple reason, because the whole point is we don't have enough coal. So Coal India is reaching its targets. Year upon year, Coal India reaches its targets in terms of delivering coal. Okay. But year upon year, thermal power plants across the country have this problem that we don't have an adequate stock of coal. So what is happening? What is the problem here?
So on a systematic lens, if we think of the basic reasons are like the energy demand is in getting day by day increase. Apart from that, the coal which is being produced by Coal India, that is several areas, has to be dispatched through rail or road or by ports through the thermal power plant. Uh, the rail operations has to be streamlined, smoothened, because we do not have the exclusive freight corridors as such in many of the places. The third reason which we could think of is like the plant load factor, the efficiency of the plant at that stage. Because even if we dispatch coal in a huge quantity, the plants are not able to consume it within the said time frame.
So
So
we need a change in designing of plants also. But the सबसे बड़ा problem is thermal power plants saying that we are not receiving coal. So what is this game that the government is playing? Well, and this is mostly about, I'm not even talking about the private sector plants. I'm essentially focusing only on the public sector plants. कि पब्लिक एक पब्लिक सेक्टर कंसर्न कोल माइन करती है,
yes,
दूसरी पब्लिक सेक्टर कंसर्न रेलवेज कोल को ट्रांसपोर्ट करती है,
correct.
तीसरी पब्लिक सेक्टर कंसर्न थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स लोकेटेड इन द पब्लिक सेक्टर हैव दिस वंडरफुल आइडिया दैट वी डोंट हैव कोल.
So at present, there are also some options like the coal can be diverted within the same unit if it's MSCB sector, MSCB thermal power plants. If a Bhusawal power plant is having enough quantity of coal, it can directly shift it to divert it to the Paras or some other where is the deficiency. Apart from that, sir, we have come up with e-auctions as like for the private players. We are also giving options open to the government PSU thermal plants.
And yet India imports coal.
Yes, sir.
You know any idea about how much coal was imported last year?
No, sir.
No idea. Why are we importing coal despite the fact that we are meeting all the targets which have been set? The targets take into consideration the amount of coal that is needed within the country,
Right, sir.
and yet we keep on importing coal. So why are we importing coal?
So I don't know the exact reason, but what I perceive is as I discussed earlier also, because of the inefficiency of the plant load factors, many times the coal stock sits idle. It is not getting utilized at the time, but another on the other phase of time, there is a deficiency felt. So rather than keeping the coal idle, we can use it and get a remuneration from that. So
The
similar lines.
Sambalpur mines are underground mines.
Sambalpur, let me correct, it's the Orient mine is underground mine. Sambalpur is no only headquarter area, sir.
Okay.
It is the administrative head. The mines are located into Talcher area, which are open cast, and Orient area, which is the
Underground.
mines. Yes, sir. It is
Okay.
part of East Valley.
Okay. Underground mines don't face this problem. That's a different issue altogether. Open cast mines go into a different category altogether.
Yes, sir.
There's a major problem in terms of compensatory afforestation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so does does this mining area that you're talking about, as far as the open cast mines are concerned,
Yes, sir.
has it shown any signs of compensatory afforestation?
Yes, sir.
They have.
Yes.
It's working well. What are the targets which are set for them?
I'm not aware about the targets, sir, but
Now, are they achieving it?
yes, sir. We are doing CSR activities also. We are doing afforestation works also. Whenever we go for any village displacement, employment is given to one of the family member. Apart from that, we also go for the giving any suitable land and developing it. Like when we went about that Orient mine number 3, expansion of it. During that period, we developed a beautiful garden to the nearby vicinity around the village. We also dig the well, build the toilets also, just to ensure that even if we are going with afforestation activities, we do take the hygiene and sanitation into consideration. So we are doing a lot.
Talcher in India
Yes, sir.
during the summers reaches temperatures of 50 degrees
Yes,
Celsius.
sir.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
So, come whatever you do, at the end of the day, we are not immune to the consequences and the effects of climate change.
Yes, sir.
And we are living it right in our middle.
Right,
Hmm? So, and on top of it, as you said, a major concern as far as thermal power plants in India are concerned is the very designing and the functioning of the power plants. Are there any efforts which are afoot in terms of changing this situation so that our power plants can go about emitting less amount of heat, don't become a trouble as far as the nearby regions are concerned?
sir. The power plants, the earlier power plants which have been set up and established, uh, during that time when they were about to be set up and established, the technology which they were working on, the used was up to that benchmark, and they had delivered up to the expectations that was expected from them. But with change of time, there have been some modern technologies like in the chimney where you can use that absorbers, fly ash absorbers or something like that. From that front, we can use. Apart from that, the boilers which are used particularly, even if we go for a regular maintenance and checkup, that can definitely help out to curb wherever we could possible. Even a single stretch of pollutant is controlled with the systematic efforts. That is also a good.
Is it being done?
Yes, sir. It is being done.
It's been done in the Talcher case.
Uh, yes, recently one fertilizer power plant in Talcher is again being operated, again inaugurated by PM Modi sir, and it has been a unique example where we can definitely get a role model. What kind of new machinery?
हाँ अभी इंस्टॉल हुआ है काम नहीं कर रहा
2 years back.
2 years back
Yes.
2 साल पहले ही हुआ है
1 year back.
So has it created any impact as far as the increasing climate is concerned, increasing temperatures are concerned?
Sorry, I don't have.
No, no,
estimate, sir.
नहीं मालूम. Okay. अच्छा, Orissa has adopted a new scheme as far as helping its farmers is concerned. It's called as Kalia.
Sir, I haven't heard about it.
No idea. No idea about it. You come from Akola in Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
What area is it located in?
It's a cotton belt, the Vidarbha region of
It's in
Mahajan.
Vidarbha region.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You come from the urban areas or you come from a rural area?
Sir, I'm actually my birthplace is in Akola, but I belong to a village called Wadegaon. It's around 40 kilometers from Akola, but my entire education has been into Pune. And my father, since he was working with Maharashtra State Transport Corporation, so I was in district place like Buldana, Nagpur, and Akola.
What does he do in the Maharashtra State Transport Corporation?
He was working with Maharashtra State. He retired as a divisional engineer in 2013.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
completed diploma in engineering, and since
So that's the reason why I took him places.
yes, sir, I went to Nagpur, I went to Buldana where I completed my 10th and 12th. And after
But then
retirement,
if one looks at it, you have been to Buldana, you have been to Akola, you have been to Nagpur.
yes, sir.
I gather all these places are in the Vidarbha region itself.
Vidarbha region, yes.
Enough.
Yes.
Huh? And Vidarbha happens to be one region in Maharashtra, at least in the last couple of years, which has witnessed a certain sort of turmoil, a certain amount of unrest and restlessness about being a part of the state of Maharashtra itself.
Yes.
Huh? Next door, you have Telangana, which has been separated from Andhra and has been constituted into a separate state.
Yes, sir.
And even that is something that is 5 years old. And it seems that Telangana has been doing remarkably well. So, on a number of government initiatives, a number of government schemes, it seems that the Telangana government has been able to create more of an impact as compared to what happened when they were part of Andhra. Now, if you look at all of that, shouldn't one go about constituting Vidarbha into a separate state?
Sir, even if Maharashtra, western part, eastern parts, both have their unique features and resources. When we consider about the Telangana having making good strides into its administrations and economic front, it's because of the administrative efficiency and resource generation capacity shown from Telangana region particularly. In case of Vidarbha, if there is a demand from people and then we can think about the option separating it, but it should not be on any mixed up with political overtone. There should be a systematic evaluation first, like whether even if it's separated, whether do we have that resource capacity, particularly in that region, to sustain and ensure that it can be
After
sustained
separation
yes,
between the two states of Telangana and Andhra,
yes.
which one of them do you think has performed bad? Has been going bad?
Sir, I would not say bad as such, but on a
So both of them have benefited.
sir, on a relatively lesser scale, Andhra would have been
Is worse off.
relatively, sir, it is because of its geographical position, where it is situated on the sea coastline, where major of its cities are on coastal sides, and it is being hit by on yearly basis approximately like cyclone and where
But that's fine. That hasn't brought the state down as such.
but most of the state revenues go into those disaster management activities.
That's alright, but that has to be done.
Yes, sir. That is prime.
No, that was being done even when Andhra was united.
Yes.
It's not that when Andhra was united, they were not doing anything for this.
No.
The cyclone आया, अच्छा ठीक है, it had battered people, let people do whatever they are doing. We want to carry on. वो तो उड़ीसा में भी होता है,
Yes. ये उड़ीसा में भी.
है ना? तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. These things have to be catered for. But then comparatively, no one would say that Andhra has been worse off or Telangana has been worse off by the division. Both of them are doing well.
Yes, sir. On a relatively scale, I think Andhra is haven't shown that size because Telangana is newly born and people are rejuvenated because of
That is exactly what I'm saying. If Maharashtra and Gujarat separate, maybe both of them would be in a better condition. Both can flourish.
So my aspect is only we need to
Have wider consultations.
wider consultations not as such, sir. My only intention is we have to do the proper assessment, not only on a political tones. We have to understand whether do the Vidarbha region has a resources availability for a viable option. Like earlier, we also went about Uttarakhand, creating Jharkhand, but we haven't.
Smaller states are effective when it comes to delivery of administrative aspects is concerned. They are more impactful. So none of the smaller states, it's the bigger states in India which are underdeveloped, which don't have adequate facilities, adequate resources, whereas none of the smaller states in India can ever be shown to be states which are worse off. Some of the most developed states in India happen to be states which are smaller.
So what I perceive is we do have a district administrations also. For why we are looking at only on a larger scale like Maharashtra or MP or Uttar Pradesh. I do take your point that with smaller region it is effective to be cater to the services. Administrative efficiency can be definitely improved, but for that purpose also we need resource capabilities because if we look at the USA also, they have a number of around 50 states. But even a single state is more than your Mauritius. But the basic lifeline is Mauritius as a country, not those much resources which USA has because of infrastructure, the resource generation capacity, mineral wealth.
Mauritius is a fairly developed country if you consider it with any state in India. It's one of the most important sources for FDI in India.
Yes, sir. Yes, I understand, sir.
Okay. Now on a completely different note.
Yes.
Okay. Let's take this factor into consideration. As far as public administration is concerned, it has evolved under the impact of something called as ICT technologies.
Yes.
So the coming in of information communication technologies has dramatically changed public administration, both in terms of its objectives as well as in terms of the way in which it is done. So process, procedures, objectives, everything has undergone a change. Okay. So if I ask you as a student of public administration to list out the most significant changes from it. So, like saying that, okay, these, in my opinion, are the most significant changes. So, what would those changes be? Just list out two very significant changes.
So, with use of ICT, two steps which government of India has taken, which I consider those are significant, like providing my government portal to the citizens, and also going with one day governance Pragati initiative taken by Prime Minister this particular government. I consider that these two initiatives where we can have a customized responses to the needs of the customer, needs of the citizens, which are in given from them. We have one-on-one interaction on a real-time basis with them. We can have the status of project implementation on a real-time basis. These are one of the these are most significant what I perceive the two steps which ICT has helped to ensure that public administration and district administration
But
particularly.
doesn't seem that it is working because the government has lost elections in all the five states that went to elections recently. So it doesn't seem that people are convinced by anything that has been done.
Sir, on a political front, there are several factors, not only the administrative efficiency as such, but when we consider about the administration aspects, uh, we are able to
Are the two initiatives that you have listed sustainable over a longer period of time?
sir, initiatives have been taken with a proper assessment. With time change, we need to have improvise them as per the needs of time. Like we might have to incorporate social media also with my government portal, where we can have like one of the Twitter during rail ministry. Suresh Prabhu sir has.
District administration in India has undergone a phenomenal change ever since the day it was first planned during colonial times.
Yes.
From being something that was largely about administration, it has steadily moved towards something that now seems to be about management. Huh? Am I right? Am I wrong?
Right, sir. Because administration front, sir. Earlier, the district collector was like virtual territorial emperor of that region, where entire decisions were taken by the district collector as such. But in today's era, where there are several stakeholders, not only the government as such, but even NGOs are working, the private business sectors are working. There are other several pressure groups also, where you have to effectively manage your resources and provide the optimum results. In that case, the management skills are getting upper hand on the administrative skills of district administrators. That's what I perceive.
Do you think that the situation between Iran and Saudi Arabia in the Gulf would at some point of time in the immediate future result in a confrontation, actual breakout of war or a big conflict, which would adversely affect India's economic interests in the region?
So, wars and tussles have been part of history of the world, but India had been one of the bedrock where we have always supported peace and we have tried to find out
That's
the work.
perfectly alright. My question is very
Understood.
specific. Do you see the situation evolving into a conflict which would adversely affect India's interests?
Yes, sir. What I perceive, sir, even if goes on a negative note, we do have our foreign officers. So we are managing their role perfectly to balancing out the situations. We will definitely try to ensure that even in those cases, trades are not severely affected. The connects with people outside there, those are not badly hampered. Yes, sir.
Sameer, it is argued that PABAD is essentially, public administration is essentially American discipline. So how do you respond to that? Is it so? If it is so, in what sense?
So, While studying the PubAd, what I understand that the theories, principles have been developed and designed from the American scholars, but in the present era, uh, as the third wave governance which we think of, there is a shades of Asian economies also. The new concepts have been introduced accordingly in public administration aspects, like in the American industries are mostly capitalism based, where the administration has some elements of it. But in case of Indian and Asian economies, where the socialism is dominating, the administration and the theories have been somehow molded to ensure that those are suitable to these conditions also.
See, Minobu conference.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is something which is very important as far as development of PubAd is
Okay.
concerned. If you take note of the last one,
Yes,
when did it take place?
sir, in 2008.
8.
Yes.
Okay. So on the basis of whatever happened in the conference, can you say that yes, these are the ideas which were rooted in the experience of the third world countries?
Sir,
Was there anything which was discussed, dealt with?
Sir, at 2008 Minambu conference, major aspects were discussing about the climate change, then women empowerment issue, gender biasing also. Apart from that, there was
In terms of
cosmopolitan nature. Not only the Western ideas and ideologies were taken into consideration. So, as a big addition, the thinkers were also not only from American side. They were diverse. Like if you consider Francis Fukuyama, who discussed about the three economies: the Chinese one, the American one, and Arab countries also. He has mentioned about those three economies, those three administration as such. So I think those there is a globalism rather than only the westernization of the administration as such at right present.
So can you cite out a significant contribution by any Indian as far as PubAd is concerned?
Sir, Right to Information Act, which we developed, the India Against Corruption movement for that purpose, which went on, local and all. So I think, and apart from that, particularly in India, when we talk about the gender justice and gender angle into the administration, self-help groups, SFG movement,
So
which
it was
was
something new and taken by Indian people, Indian society.
is a self-help group movement is novel initiative from India as far as India is concerned into administration governance. Self-help groups,
It was
apart
not
from
taken.
Bangladesh,
Okay.
if Mohammed Yunus, the Bangladesh Gramin Bank, we the NABARD bank took that idea and we are well into it, and today we are having very good results. We are also improving it as well.
And do we have any evaluation mechanism as far as public policies are concerned in India?
Sorry, sir, I'm not having idea of that.
Okay, okay. Uh, Government has done a lot. Okay, from 91. Okay, let us focus on the present government. Do you see any contribution to a process called as grievance redressal mechanism? Either establishing that or reforming the already existing one. Do you see any initiative in last 4 years?
Last 4 years, one of the things I'm not aware of exact answer of it, but what I pursued is we have grievances are basically including from the multiplicity and complexity of rules and regulations. So this government has gone on streamlining the laws and regulations, just removing the outdated laws which are not having relevant in the present context. Those are initiatives which can definitely help for grievance redressal of people at present with minimal laws and sorry.
Thank you, Samir.
press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from the Unique Academy. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned.